Good morning and welcome to the class. Okay, sharing his experience how the languages, that is English, Gikuyu were treated under the colonial system in Kenya. The narrator Gugiwa Thiango explains the speakers of Kenyan local languages were treated very badly, humiliated, punished, whereas the speakers of English were awarded, they were respected, and mainly because English it was the language of the rulers, officers. English it was the language of the emperors. So the para it goes like this. The attitude to English was the exact opposite. Any achievement in spoken or written English was high rewarded, prizes, prestige, applause, ticket to higher realms. Whereas the student, if he was caught while speaking his local language, maybe Gikuyu or Swahili, very badly he was punished, and he was treated as a culprit. He has to undergo corporal physical punishment. He was very badly beaten, and also the student has to carry a metal plate around his neck the whole day with the inscription such as "I am stupid, I am donkey." Thus, that is those children, they were forced mainly to hate their community, hate their local language, mainly because if they speak local language very badly, they were going to be treated. Whereas English, though English it was not the language of that Kenya, though English it was mainly a foreign language, still English enjoyed every prestige, every status, it had its own, it was respected in every way, and it had enjoyed every regard. So that is a student, if he was very good in English, if he does any achievement in the field of spoken or written English, that student he has to enjoy every reward like prizes, prestige, applause, and also the ticket to higher realms. Ticket to higher realms means that the student who was very good at English, he was promoted to the higher education, he was promoted to the next level, he was promoted to the next level of his education. Thus English became the measure of intelligence, ability in the arts, science, and all other branches of learning, and English became the main determinant of a child's progress up the ladder of a formal education. Thus English, to measure one's intelligence, talent, ability, only English it was considered. His knowledge in English it was mainly considered. A student, though he was suppose a student he was very good in all other subjects, maths, other things, art, and all other things, it was not at all considered. Only his knowledge, his ability, his intelligence, his achievement in English, it was mainly highly rewarded, highly regarded. Thus English became the main determinant of a child progress up the ladder of formal education. Thus every student was forced to learn mainly in English, not the local languages. So next, regarding that particular, explaining how English it had enjoyed every status, how it was high rewarded, regarded. The writer mainly says, as you may know, the colonial system of education, in addition to its apartheid racial demarcation, had the structure of a pyramid. So one thing in education system in Kenya, the British government, British Empire practiced one particular system. It was apartheid racial demarcation. Apartheid racial demarcation mainly means racial discrimination, color discrimination. That is the discrimination between the white and the black, the discrimination between the Kenyans and the English. So the Kenyans, they were not at all allowed any privileges, any facilities, whereas the white, the British, they were allowed every facilities, every privileges. Thus racial discrimination, though the Kenyan students, they were also allowed for the education, but so much discrimination, so much punishment these Kenyan students they have to undergo. So not only this racial apartheid, racial discrimination in educational system they practiced, they had one more method, that is the structure of a pyramid. And in this structure of a pyramid they had system. pyramid ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬೇಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಫುಲ್ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ 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 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರನ್ನು ಅವರ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆನಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದರು, ದೇ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟೆಡ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್: a broad primary base. On the primary base, at the primary level, all the students they were allowed, irrespective of his color, community, caste. All the students, all the Kenyan students, the children who were interested in education, all those students they were allowed. So broad primary base ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೂ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ they were all allowed. So primary level ಅಂದರೆ up to 5th standard it was a very broad one, all were allowed. But second level, that is after 6th standard, it was a narrower one, a narrowing secondary level. That is mainly in the second level, to get promotion to the second level, that filtering system it was mainly practiced. And an even narrower university apex. But at the college, at the university level, even narrower system it was followed. For example, suppose at the primary level there were 100 students, but after filtration at the secondary level only 50 students they were filtered. And at the university apex, out of 100 students only 10 to 15 students, that is a very narrower apex. ಅಂದರೆ ಪಿರಮಿಡಲ್ ಹೇಗೆ ತುದಿಲಿ ವಿತ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೆಂತ್ ವಿಡ್ತ್ ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲ್ಟರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ತಗೋತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ಅಲೋಡ್. And okay, how this filtering system it was practiced. Selections from primary into secondary were through an examination in my time called Kenya African Preliminary Examination, in which one had to pass 6 subjects ranging from maths to nature study and Kiswahili. All the papers were written in English. Nobody could pass the exam who failed the English paper, no matter how brilliantly had it done in the other subjects. Okay, to select to the secondary level, a particular exam was going to be conducted, and that exam during the period of Gugiwa Thiong'o, that exam it was mainly called Kenya African Preliminary Examination. And in that examination the students have to pass 6 subjects, and subjects they were ranging from maths to nature study and Kiswahili, and all the subjects they were in English. But the point it is, nobody could pass the exam who failed the English language paper, no matter how brilliantly had done in the other subjects. But for these Kenyan students, English it was a foreign language. It was not their own language. It was not their mother tongue. It was not their local language. So it was very difficult for the Kenyan students to pass in that English subject, English language, mainly because when we take the English as a subject, as a language, especially grammar section of English, somewhat very tough, somewhat very difficult to follow. For example, just take the example of singular and plural form. Okay, boy, B-O-Y, boy, here boy, the word ends with Y, where to form the plural form just by adding S, yes, we may convert it into plural, boy, boys. But whereas family, F-A-M-I-L-Y, family. So here family, this word also ends with Y. But to form or to convert the word family to plural, to form plural, we have to by removing y, we have to add IES, family, FAMILY, that is singular, but in plural form it becomes FAMILIES. In the same way, leaf, singular, leaves, LEAVES, leaves. And also take the example of could, COULD, L, though L is silent, but though L is written in that word, but we shouldn't pronounce L. In the same way, when we come to the pronunciation, spelling and pronunciation, for example, PUT, yes, according to the spelling, we have to pronounce it as put, PUT, put. In the same way, CUT, we shouldn't pronounce it as could, but we have to pronounce it as cut. So, because of the spelling structure, because of the pronunciation, because of these grammatical difficulties, it is very difficult for the students, for the children to follow English, to learn English very easily. For them, English becomes very tough. Here also for the Kenyan students, though they are very good they were very good in other subjects, maths, art and all other subjects, but very poor in English, and for them it was very difficult to pass in that English subject. And one more thing, a student, though he is very intelligent in all other subjects, but if he fails in English, then he is to be considered as English. And here the writer, he gives one example of his class during 1954. I remember one boy in my class of 1954 who had distinctions in all subjects except English, which he had failed. He was made to fail the entire exam. He went on to become a turn boy in a bus company. So here one student, though he was very intelligent, very brilliant boy, and he had distinctions in all those subjects except English, in which he had failed. So this boy, though he was very intelligent, very brilliant, and had a very good marks in all other subjects, but he had failed in English. So he was made to fail the entire exam, and he became only a turn boy in a bus company. Turn boy means an assistant to a driver, maybe in a bus or in a lorry. Thus this boy, suppose he had given the chance, he was promoted, he was allowed to the next level, definitely he might have become a very big officer. But since he was not allowed to the next level because he had failed in English, he had become only a lorry driver or an assistant to the bus driver. Whereas what about this Gugiwa Thiago? I, who had only passes but a credit in English, got a place at the Alliance High School, one of the most elitist institutions for Africans in colonial Kenya. This Gugiwa Thiago, though he had passes in all other subjects, though he didn't score much marks in other subjects, but he had a credit, that is, he had a very good marks in English. So he was allowed for the next level to the high school, Alliance High School, which was a very prestigious high school for Africans in colonial Kenya. The requirements for a place at the University Makerere University College were broadly the same. Nobody could go on to wear the undergraduate red gown, no matter how brilliantly they had performed in all other subjects, unless they had a credit, not even a simple pass in English. Even a student, he is allowed to the university level mainly by following the same method, that is University Makerere University College. There also same method was followed. A student, if he was very good in English, if he had credit, that is a very good marks like distinction in English, then he was allowed for Makerere University College. Otherwise, yes, he has to give up his education. Thus, the most coveted place in the pyramid and in the system was only available to the holder of an English language English language credit card. English was the official vehicle and the magic formula to colonial elite. So here the writer he mainly says that is the um, most coveted place. So a person if he is very good in English language, he has to enjoy every status, every a very good rank in the society, and also everywhere he is to be regarded, rewarded, and also he is going to be respected everywhere. Thus English, it was the official vehicle and it was the magic formula to colonial elitedom. So to enjoy every success, to enjoy every benefit, facilities, privileges, the Kenyans they should be very good in English. Otherwise, the Kenyans they were not at all respected. Thus, English, though English it was the foreign language, it was not the local language of Kenya. Still, English it was the official vehicle. Every thing to be continued is going to go mainly through this English language and the magic formula to colonial elitedom. Thus English it was given so much importance, whereas local languages they were completely neglected, completely rejected, and students, Kenyan students, they were forced to hate their own local language. Okay, thank you.